The Inception Mindset, a Leadership Imperative for Navigating Perpetual Complexity, by Dr. Robert Radi. Author, Inception Mindset, the Contextual Art and Science of Leading in a Permanently Complex World. Introduction, Then and Now. In July of 2023, I was pounding away at the keyboard, racing to finish my book. I was staying at a family member's home in Pacific Palisades, just a stone's throw from the village. It was an intense and exciting year, leveling up, both personally and professionally. My wife, Charlotte, had made it through a series of heart procedures earlier that year, and we were finally beginning to exhale. I was delivering real value to participants in our meticulously curated executive leadership sessions. I had even returned to painting, something that brought me joy, and to my surprise, those pieces were raising significant funds for nonprofit causes through auction events. Amid all that momentum, I stumbled upon a quote: "The most impactful book is the one you write." My immediate reaction? What a bunch of nonsense. Fast forward to 2025, that home in Pacific Palisades is no longer standing. The pendulum has swung from prioritizing effectiveness to chasing efficiency, and many organizations have taken the axe to professional development programs. The self-adhesive heart monitor is back on Charlotte's chest. I haven't picked up a paintbrush in over 8 months, despite requests from nonprofit organizations continuing to come in. And yet, through all of it, I've had something to lean on: Inception Mindset, my book. It grounded me. I've been following my own writing, implementing the very insights, methodologies, and frameworks I set out to share. I've been intentionally engaging with each point of inception I could contextualize. While I momentarily lost the horizon at the beginning of the year, I regained it. And the momentum? It's real. So much for what a bunch of nonsense. I'm like Cy Sperling, the hair club president. I'm not only the president, I'm also a client. The complexity illusion. We often hear that we're living in unprecedented times. But if we take a long view of human progress, complexity is not unprecedented. It's perpetual. What has changed is the density, velocity, and interconnectedness of the variables we must now process. In this context, traditional leadership models, designed around predictability, control, or even basic adaptability, are increasingly insufficient. We need a different approach, one that moves beyond reactive adaptation and toward what I call strategic regeneration. I coined the term Inception Mindset to describe a cognitive orientation and methodology that enables leaders to interpret disruption not as a threat, but as a constellation of new beginnings, and to respond with clarity, creativity, and systemic coordination. This concept emerged over the course of more than 3 decades of working with leaders across the public and private sectors, many of whom were navigating challenges they did not choose. In that time, one truth became increasingly clear. Clarity is not given, it is earned. Clarity is not static, it can erode in times of turbulence, but an inception mindset allows leaders to recover their line of sight, to regain the horizon. That is the heart of the inception mindset. The ability to identify and act upon points of inception, the quiet beginnings that emerge within complexity and can be transformed into meaningful innovation. Interestingly, my own exploration began not with a framework, but with a painting. I created an abstract visual representation of what inception mindset meant to me. That artwork was later auctioned at a nonprofit gala, an indication that this concept resonated not only visually, but also intellectually. Little did I know, however, that upon releasing my book, I'd be fielding comparisons to the 2010 science fiction film Inception, about entering people's dreams to extract or plant ideas. The inception mindset is not about manipulating others. It's about helping leaders see the unseen patterns in their environment and choose their next move with intention. Defining the inception mindset. The inception mindset is a holistic, context-sensitive approach to thinking that equips leaders to recognize complexity not merely as a challenge to be managed, but as an engine for continuous renewal. It is rooted in 4 interconnected lenses. Environmental horizon, the external forces, shifts, and disruptions shaping the ecosystem. Self-horizon, the internal perspective, identity, beliefs, and behaviors of the leader. Organizational horizon, the systems, cultures, and operational models that constrain or enable action. Integrative horizon, the interaction between the 3 and the emerging patterns that arise. Together, these lenses allow leaders to make sense of complexity in real time and to act with intentionality across multiple levels of influence. Why current leadership models fall short. Traditional leadership mindsets, whether reactive, visionary, or agile, often assume that clarity can be achieved before complexity is addressed. The Inception Mindset, by contrast, assumes clarity must emerge through engagement with complexity. It is nonlinear, multidimensional, and generative in nature. This orientation is particularly relevant to organizations facing post-crisis redefinition, digital transformation fatigue, structural talent shortages, public sector innovation constraints, cross-sector collaboration under uncertainty. In each of these contexts, new solutions cannot be imposed. They must be conceived through a combination of strategic insight, organizational empathy, and systems fluency. From perception to execution. The Inception Mindset is not a theoretical construct. It's an implemented leadership practice that facilitates the transition from perception to execution in complex environments. Leaders who internalize this mindset demonstrate 5 key behaviors: pattern recognition across systems, identifying non-obvious connections and recurring dynamics across environmental, personal, and institutional levels. The CADE framework illustrated in the book assists leaders in this effort. Strategic patience with purpose, resisting premature conclusions while advancing toward plausible, high-leverage interventions. Self-reflexivity, intentionally developing a leadership brand across the 9 dimensions illustrated in the book by recognizing one's own assumptions, limitations, and influence on system dynamics. Constructive reframing, turning breakdowns into breakthroughs by asking, what is this disruption trying to tell us? The entrusted empowerment methodology, as illustrated in the book, provides clarity on how to pursue and sustain this dimension. Prototype thinking, incubating and advancing small-scale experiments to test alignment between insight and action. Implications for organizational leadership. Organizations that cultivate inception-minded leaders benefit in 3 distinct ways. Resilient innovation, the ability to regenerate models under pressure, not just optimize them. Cultural adaptivity, a leadership culture that frames change as contribution, not disruption. Strategic clarity in flux, the emergence of navigational clarity even when visibility is low. These outcomes are not incidental. They are the byproduct of intentional leadership development practices that go beyond competency and focus on cognitive orientation and strategic integration. Conclusion. Leading the new beginning. In a permanently complex world, the most effective leaders are not those who simply react or pivot. They are the ones who recognize inception points, moments of emergence where something new can begin, often buried beneath layers of ambiguity and resistance. The Inception Mindset is not about optimism. It is about disciplined curiosity, systemic acuity, and the courage to reimagine when others retreat. As organizational life continues to be defined by ambiguity and acceleration, cultivating this mindset will become not just beneficial, but essential. Feel free to take the free Inception Mindset Inventory Self-Assessment available at inceptionmindset.com to support you in your development. We trust you enjoyed this thought-provoking article. Please feel free to share it on your favorite social media platforms. Subscribe below to be notified of future articles. You can also follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channel.